pledge.
Yep.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll try to keep this short and sweet tonight because of the weather. And the only thing I'm noticing is with the table this way and the room this way, I can't tell who's voting, how it's going. When we vote on anything, I'm just gonna go down the line and say yea or nay. That way she can keep track, because there was, I guess, confusion the last time on how many votes we got for what. All right, we'll start out by looking over the minutes from the last meeting. Take a couple minutes and then we'll discuss whether to approve them or not.
Wasn't the fire department, didn't we do that like a silent one?
Say it again.
The fire department, didn't we do that like, what did we do when we wrote their names down?
On what?
We wrote the names down last month on a piece of paper.
The chief. We voted for the
That's
chief.
we voted for the chief.
That's how we voted though?
Uh-huh.
So like it says, I made a motion and Dwight seconded it,
To vote. Matt in.
but I thought we wrote it down on a piece of paper.
You still had to make a motion.
Oh, okay.
Just do it.
We had the ballots, so it would be less embarrassing.
That's Matt.
Okay, we ready to approve the minutes? Do I have a motion that we approve the minutes for December 2024?
I'll make a motion.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Dwight? Yea or nay?
Yay.
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 Yeah.
Motion approved. All right, now we're looking at the claims for December 5th through January 2nd. And I'll just wait for a motion that we accept the claims.
Do you have minutes for the other meeting that you guys had?
No. I know you requested them. I have them, but I don't have them typed up. But I will get them to you.
Okay, do we have a motion that we accept the claims for December 5th through January 2nd?
I make motion.
I'll second.
Okay.
Yay.
Yay,
Yes.
Yay.
motion approved. All right, for tonight's agenda, we'll start out with Quentin, the water and sewage update. If you don't have anything, you don't have anything.
Well, I mean, like always, I'm not as prepared as Chief Bartlett, but, no, I did want to bring up, and obviously you guys have already talked about it, it is my 3 months since I've got hired here as, supposed to be the water operator in training. I did ask for, this specific, raise, just talking to Teddy and some of the work that we do, I thought was more fair. I appreciate anything you guys obviously agreed upon. But the biggest thing was also taking care of Teddy. He's done a lot for this town, and I've learned a lot about that since I've started here. Two, I was trying to think of some of the stuff that we could get together in order to run smoothly, proficiently, all that. Kind of talked to threw around about trucks and all that stuff. I know the budget's not there right now. We're dealing with a lot of other stuff. I would like to approve maintenance on the trucks that we do have. We got that, was a 98 Dodge Ram, and then we have the Silverado dump truck. Both old, both been through a lot over the years. So I'd like to get them sent in one by one to a shop. I was thinking about Country Tire or whatever, seeing if they have a mechanic on hand that could go through them with a fine comb and just make sure they're good to go for the next few years.
What is the dump truck? What year is that new?
Oh, not off the top of my head. I think it's around early 2010s. I know the Dodge is a few years older.
I don't know what the
They
years
both
are.
have under 100,000 miles, but they have a lot of run hours on them, and a lot of hard hours on them. So.
What are you trying to find, just like anything other than?
Well, I've noticed, like, with plowing through town and going back and forth, you know, out of the country, the dump truck does have a pull on it. It's got pretty decent pull to the right. Steering sloppy, her heat's going in and out. Teddy said him and Bruce have put 2 heater boxes in it, fans and everything. One of the tail lights is out electrically in the dump truck. It doesn't work until you hit the brake light. A lot of stuff needs gone through. Other than that, I know a lot of other stuff's already been discussed, so that's really all I got right now.
That's stuff we should have been keeping up with all the way along, but we got behind on it, I guess.
Is there anything wrong with the red truck?
Clears.
The worst part about the red truck is the steering is really loose. It's sloppy.
Could
Steering?
be.
Yeah, going down one into Cambridge, you know, I'm playing with the steering wheel back and forth to keep it straight. It's got some looseness in it.
Is that the truck that Teddy replaced the gearbox?
Power steering, no, that was the dump truck. And it, also the power steering with the heavy load of the plow, all the sand we put in the back, putting it in 4-wheel drive, the power steering was getting ready to go back out again. And it locked up on us a couple times trying to turn corners. We almost hit into a couple of light poles and even a vehicle.
So that's an unsafe vehicle.
With that much weight on it, I'd say everyday driving, it drives fine. The brakes and the power steering, all that works fine. I'm just complaining about the pole, and then the lights, the electrical, all that stuff needs to go through.
Cause I know on the Dodge, new brakes was put on the back about 8 years
You
ago.
know, I'm not talking about simple maintenance,
Right.
either. You know, oil changes, stuff like that. Now, I'm a mechanic by trade. I can do that Teddy can do that. You know, we've changed the oil in our trucks. We help the fire department change the oil in one of their trucks. We can handle the easy stuff. Wiring, that's getting into a lot of headaches. You get into the wiring and then the heavy mechanics to the steering and so.
Wiring could be a challenge, especially from former employees. We seem to had some that didn't know what electric was. Probably ball joints, pitman arms and all that on the suspension.
So I'm not big into like diesel mechanics. I never really got into diesel mechanics, but you know the similar components between those and regular heavy duty pickup trucks. I do understand. So driving those, I really noticed it when we're out plowing around. It's getting to the point we need to do something about it.
Probably those trucks probably don't have grease fittings.
Yeah, they do. They're old enough. They do. Absolutely.
They have that. Okay.
So everything needs hit. It needs a 100% inspection.
Do we need to vote on where to take them and what
So,
Or to
and
get quotes and quotes.
quotes,
quotes?
I mean, it's hard to do quotes on stuff like this too because they could replace one thing and find out that was just hiding the problem.
but they can give us like a
Estimate.
start point.
County
The-
Tire's good.
We'll try. I mean, they can try, but there's,
At least how much it is to
Oh,
go through and just do the
what I wanna
inspection
do, yeah,
prior to,
is a 100% bumper to bumper
Whatever,
inspection
whatever name.
and that's what I will get you quotes for.
Jameson.
yeah.
Send everything in.
James.
And then we know that there's costs.
Yeah, and then they'll give us a list of what we need to decide on what we can fix and what we cannot fix. And-
Right.
Or
Well, I'd say
even if we
heater
wanna keep the
probably
vehicles.
important and steering.
Ball joints is about the only thing you might worry about adjusting other than taking the old out, put the new in. But then again, you still need to look at
Pulls to the right.
other parts of the suspension.
The rack and pinion is what I'm kind of worried about on the dump truck with the steering. Just the single fact that it tried to freeze up on us when we're turning. It could affect the steering a little bit, but the way it's bowling, it's a suspension issue. I'm thinking. I'm gonna guess.
Where else could they get a quote from? I've got those two places, Jancy and County Tire. Where else? Greens Fork.
It'd probably be similar to county, but yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if they have actual diesel mechanics at County Tire. I just know they work on
I thought we
big
did.
boy
I
tires,
think
so I figured they did.
I think they
so.
do.
I do too.
They got-
They're very picky about what they'll do, cause I asked them about doing brake chambers on the engine and they wouldn't do it.
So you might reach out to them tomorrow. I wrote down everywhere and I'll give you a list tomorrow.
Alrighty then.
And that's just gonna be just an estimate on front to back.
They're gonna give us everything that's wrong.
Whichever
with the
truck they
vehicle.
take first. Decide to take
Yeah,
first.
and I don't wanna take them both, I don't wanna be down but two trucks, so we're gonna do them one at a time. I can get estimates on both of them at the same time, but the work's gonna be done one at a
It
time.
probably needs to be on the snowplow one, it sounds like first,
First.
or the.
After
One
the
that
winter's
you're in.
over, you know, we don't wanna be down
Yeah, but
without a plow.
do you wanna go into a pole?
No,
I mean, I
I just
don't
don't
want
wanna
you to.
put, I don't wanna put sand back in it when we're pushing snow, even
I
though
told you not to be worried about that sand.
weight's the biggest helper when you're pushing sand. So.
Because I'm pretty sure that the county does Carnesville Street. At least
To
they
a
were,
point. To a point.
they probably were scraping up what you did.
Well,
The other
it
day.
also helps because when they're scraping, they're actually laying down salt.
So, yeah,
So it helps. It's better than what we're doing. So it doesn't bother me one bit.
So which truck do you wanna start with?
I would say
Red?
you're probably right, the dump truck.
Okay.
Because we will use that a lot in the summertime. So as soon as the faster we can get it fixed, the better.
How's the seat in the red truck?
The what?
The seat,
Seat?
the seat,
What seat?
that's what I'm saying.
Is it that bad?
Well, the cushion's out. It's been taped up. Yeah,
duct tape.
yeah, the.
Yeah.
the
Is that from
bottom-
sliding in and out?
It just got tore up.
So check,
Tools
check
in
with
the
the junction.
pockets and stuff.
Just don't want it to have a spring break where you're sliding out or in. It's pretty bad. It's been that way for a good while.
Check it out, junkyard. It's a work truck.
Yeah,
You can go to wrecking yard, probably find another seat.
Mhm.
so they can source that at the mechanic shop. Whoever fixes it, they can pull one. They will pull one out of the junkyard if that's what we ask for. It's a refurbished one.
Matthew?
Okay, I guess we're ready for the law enforcement update.
Perfect timing.
Good timing.
Oh, okay. I think you guys should have the metrics in front of you from December. I don't have one in front of me, but so December ordinance violations. There's just not. I mean, summertime's more of an ordinance violation area because of the weeds and everything. We had a few. I know I tagged a car that was sitting over on Connersville Street. It did get moved. I don't know who moved it, when it got moved, or how it got moved, but I did tag a car that was over there and it got moved. So that's a good start. I know we had some issue with some dogs again, and I went over and pretty much told them that they're going to give you a violation in the mail again.
Same place.
Yeah, over there across from your house. They had old Maples. They were over at Maples' house, going up, hollering up a storm with him, and it caused a whole different issue that I had to deal with, but that got taken care of. Call wise, I think we had like 6 or 7 calls for service in December. The big thing is the new SUV. Everything's rolling on it. We're getting things done up. We do now have it back from the original dealership. They fixed everything in it. It's working perfectly now. So that didn't, as far as I'm aware, that didn't cost us anything. They did that to make things right from the original deal. It's scheduled to get the rest of its equipment put in it, I believe Friday, and then the beginning of next week as well. I think that's kind of it. The only other thing I have is some metrics from the overall year. The nice thing is our CAD system, I finally figured out how to make it print out or make it give us a report as to like the yearly totals for everything. And last year in total we had 504 calls for service, and that's with 1 full-time and 2 part-time officers. Tom alone, being in full-time status and being gone there for a little while, had over 230 some calls just by himself. I think I averaged or came in at like 150 something, and Jerry was right at 100. And then Aaron Wilson got 1 shift in. He had one. So that's kind of where we're at. I can tell you that when I was doing the metrics, this only shows me the calls that we took. That doesn't show me the calls that we should have taken had we had coverage. I fully predict this coming year that those numbers will be way higher. I'm going to guess probably in the 7s to 9,000 or 900 call volume is probably where we'll sit per year. I don't have an average because last year was our full first year here. But that's kind of where we're at right now. Do you guys have any questions for us?
What was wrong with the car? What's this new truck?
Well, I never got a definitive answer.
Transmission.
Supposedly, they replaced the transmission, the whole thing. They've got a bunch of them sitting in their lot. I'm sure it's out of another police car, in no doubt in my mind. They replaced the transmission and they replaced an entire wire harness that somehow it got loose and got tangled around the drive shaft, or the steering column, I mean. And so yeah, that was a big problem. So they replaced that, they replaced the transmission, so transmission in it should be good for the longevity that we have it at this point. But that was really the main issues with it. We're working with Motorola because it already has a really nice camera system in it, and we'd like to continue to use that as long as it's not going to cost an arm and a leg, because we're not looking to add any more expenses than we have to. But the nice camera system's in it. As long as we can make it work, we're gonna work with it, which will save us money on the back end. So that's kind of where we're at with it. The charger, unfortunately, it's having some more issues again because of the cold weather. We determined that the battery's still good in it, but when you fire it up and try to move it, it instantly dies. Our working theory right now is it's the alternator. Jerry is going to take it to his shop that's inside where it's warm and take the alternator off and have it tested. And we're gonna get some quotes as to see what the cheapest play we can get a new alternator for it potentially, if that's even the problem. If they come back and say, hey, no, your alternator's good, then we're not sure where we're gonna go with it right now.
Why are you putting more money into it?
Well, it's still a perfectly good car with the exception of whatever this electrical problem is. Now, don't get me wrong. If it's gonna cost us thousands of dollars, I agree. I don't necessarily think that we should put thousands of dollars into
We
this
just
car.
did.
Correct. But we didn't know we had the COVID money at the time.
Right, but I mean, we just put over $1,000 in it, probably $2,000 in it or more
Which is
in the last 2 months.
Right, which is just another reason that we shouldn't just say, screw it, because we wouldn't be able to make our money back. You know what I mean? If you got a car that's not gonna run, no one's gonna buy it at a decent price. If we get it back running, as it sits, if we were to sell it to another police department, we could probably get 5 to 7 out of it. If we decommission it, you're looking probably in the 3 to 5 range to a private person. Obviously, if we sell it to private, we have to decommission it as a police car. In my opinion, I think we're better off just trying to figure out what this electrical problem is and fixing it and having it as a spare car. I really think that's our best bet because that saves us from saying, okay, heaven forbid, we slide off the road somewhere and we blow out a tire, right? Or worse, or transmission goes out. You're 100%. Then we're still a functioning police department at that point. You know what I mean? We can still work. Even, heaven forbid, we get in a pursuit and, things happen, accidents happen, we lose a car because of it. Yeah, the insurance company will take care of that and get us a new one or another one. But in the meantime, we're down a car, which hinders the operations of the department, which if we have a backup, no hindrance. We can still operate at the maximum capacity. So that's where I would like to go with it. Obviously, we'll get some quotes and see how much it's gonna cost and if that's the issue.
So before anything's fixed, they'll come to council and be approved?
That'll be a Tom question. I don't know what
It
he's
has to
doing.
come to council, anything over 500 has to come to
Correct,
council?
yeah, anything over 500 will.
can
I don't know
change
what
the
it's gonna
alternator.
cost, cause ultimately, do what, sorry?
I can change an alternator.
Well, that's what Jerry's doing. Ultimately, we're gonna try to keep this in-house to keep the cost as low as possible. If it's just an alternator, Jerry's gonna swap out the alternator as long as it's not over $500, and hopefully that car's fine. But we're gonna get everything tested first to make sure that's the issue before we go spending money. So, that's kinda where we're at with the Charger. What's that?
Alternators are expensive.
I think if I remember right,
If
Jerry,
we can put it in ourselves, if he can put it in, it's $100 at the most.
yeah, I mean, that's
I'm
what we're
thinking
hoping
of
for.
people.
I think when Jerry looked it up, because I had him do some research because he initially found the issue. I think he was somewhere in the 180 to 230 range. That was kind of your max mins. So I'm gonna say that we're probably gonna be about $200 on an alternator. If we can find the right place to get it. So that's all I've got. Unless you guys have more questions.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Matt. Okay, Matt, Bart, what is it?
So I typed this up for you guys to have, just kind of breeze over it. We do have a few more members that have joined. They're probationary, and one came back. So right now we're sitting at 22 members, plus 2 50-year members and 4 cadets. Out of that, 9 members have firefighter certifications. We have 7 EMTs and 1 paramedic. We have several people signed up for numerous trainings over the next few months for first and second quarter. We have 4 that are in the EMR class right now, and then we have a few other classes that we've signed people up for through various things. Probably looking at Josh Hensley's going to the county meeting tomorrow night, and he's gonna start at least planting the seed for that we're interested in doing a firefighter certification class at the end of this year. And that we'd have some candidates for that. Bentonville, I know, has some. It's easier usually to do a class that size as a county or with at least a few departments, instead of taxing one department with all the training. So that's a long, slow process, so we're hoping to get some more people still to join that have certs. Community CPR we have scheduled for February 15th, we've been advertising that. If it's just hands-on, just to learn the skill, it's free. If they want the certification for like school teachers and a few other people have reached out to us, it's $50. And that's 8 to noon that day. And then the same day, that afternoon, we're doing it for the professionals. Firefighters and the law enforcement side has been invited also. Current repairs that we need to do over the next little bit is we have a valve on order for engine 2. The part's on order, we're just waiting for it to get in. So the truck just can't draft right now, which is for like county operations. Engine 4 does have the valve, so we're just waiting on that to come in. By the end of the year, we'll have to redo the rear tires and put new tires on the back of engine 2. So we'll be looking at that towards the end of the year. And I'm gonna replace the brake chambers on engine 2. They're both rotted out, so that is a fairly easy, inexpensive fix. I wouldn't say easy, but it's inexpensive because we can do it in-house, or I can do it. We will be getting the last couple trucks serviced. We got the stuff the other day from AutoZone in Napa to get the last couple trucks due for service. We've done a bunch of repairs in-house. We got thermal imaging cameras that were donated. We got those installed in the trucks. Actually, Seth helped wire them up. The pump gauges on engine 2, we had to replace a couple of them. We put 2 new tires in the front of engine 2, and we've been doing truck checks and updating maintenance every week. Sorry. We've pretty much been through all the trucks and the equipment. We still find a few issues from lack of maintenance for a while, but we're getting through that for the most part. The website's up and running, so I put the website address on there, which is just miltonfire.in, and we've been updating that with pictures and equipment and information. Fundraising, we got the golf outing set for July 18th. We started advertising that. We've already got a couple teams that are signed up. Got a hole-in-one sponsor for $15,000 from THL, which is who we spent a bunch of the money on the equipment with.
Is this the one that was supposed to happen last year?
They did have it,
Oh, they did have it last year? Oh,
but same thing.
I thought it got postponed.
It got postponed, we got rained down. I think they ended up doing it a different weekend, so it wasn't as successful as we're hoping for this year. But it's all set with Winding Branch. We do have a hole-in-one sponsor, which is THL, who we bought our equipment from for $15,000. We've set the boot drive dates for Memorial Day weekend and Labor Day weekend, those Saturdays. So we'll fine tune those times and everything as we get a little closer to that. We spent a lot of time looking at and researching grants, and that's probably most of this evening's conversation is going to be about. Is we're running into a lot of problems with qualifying for a lot of the grants. A lot of the companies and larger industries that have been doing this for a while have smartened up on their end and realized that they can get a tax break if they donate this money to 501c3s. And most of them now exclude public safety unless they have a 501c3. Between Chief Hensley and I, we've spent quite a bit of time both with the IRS as well as some tax people at no cost to the town or anything, but at least started looking at what can we do. There was a lot of misinformation out there that you couldn't get a 501c3 if you were town owned, which is not accurate. The IRS's official, unofficial thought process is that we do something like an association within our agency and apply for 501c3 status through that, and that association donates the equipment to the department every year. There are any grants or any money that we get. In laying that out and looking at that, it's about $1,000 to do the whole 501c3 with the EIN. The EIN part is free, but you have to file a 1023 form to get that 501c3, which takes, as they put it, weeks to months. That's exactly what the IRS said. The cost is about $600. I know we'd have to incorporate within the state of Indiana, which is another, I think, $100 or $150. So after thinking about this a little bit more and making it so that it would be, we'd have to make a whole separate set of bylaws for the proposed Milton Firefighters Association, whatever we wanna do. We would also like to invite a board member to be part of that 501c3 as oversight, as well as a third party that wouldn't be involved as far as like the everyday bills. So like if we got a grant for $5,000, we're gonna spend 4,000 of it on new fire hose or whatever the equipment would be, it wouldn't be necessarily somebody that's writing the check or necessarily somebody that would really be on the double end. Cedric, I think, would have to be excluded, being on both sides, and we discussed this a little bit last night at the station. So we were gonna see about maybe asking, Dwight seems to be pretty good with grants, and Jeanette, you're in the banking world, of inviting one or two of the board members to be a part of it as oversight, because it seems like the reason the old 501c3, which was Milton Firemen's Inc. or something like that, fell apart was they weren't doing the paperwork every year, is what it sounds like, and then the town took it over. I don't wanna rehash old politics, and I'm not looking to go down that road, but the only way to do it would be, I'm not real excited to do it incorporated, but I think the association would make sense, and I think that would be a very easy workaround solution. A lot of the departments around here have done auxiliaries and they're doing the same thing, which is a thought, but I think the association makes more sense for the way we are built currently at Milton Fire. We don't have people knocking the door down to join the department. We're doing good, we're doing well, I think we're gonna continue to do well, but to try to do an auxiliary, you're just adding another flavor to it. And in my experience, what you end up with is you end up with wives or girlfriends. A lot of times it's girlfriends, other halves, and then the boyfriend and girlfriend break up and you lose half the auxiliary because one or the other has moved out of town or both. So I think that doing something like the association and having somebody be a head of the association that is not a chief officer, so me nor Josh would be the head of that association, we would vote somebody in from within the department, and then, like I said, somebody like Dwight or Jeanette or both being a part of that association to be a third party oversee of, we wanna spend money, we all vote on it, everybody agrees, okay, we're gonna buy new hose or whatever it is, more gear, whatever that is, that we would use those funds strictly to buy equipment for the department and the betterment of the department. But to try to undo the 501c3 portion of the town is almost impossible because it ties our tax ID numbers together. So we'd have to have a separate tax ID number for the association. It would be 501c3. I mean, it's a pretty smart system. As soon as you, like for CSX, I just showed Josh last night just to show him, as soon as I type the town's tax ID number in, it says you are ineligible to apply for any grants. This same exact grant I got for Carthage Volunteer Fire Department in 2 seconds flat last year for $5,000 for a new radio because they're 501c3. So I think that it would better the town and the department overall to look at doing it. I'm not saying we have to make a decision, I think we have to talk to the town attorney also to dot our i's and cross our t's.
I emailed him about that when you asked me to, he hasn't gotten back with me yet.
Sure, and that's fine, and that's something, I mean, we can do it the next meeting, but we have actively looked at probably 17 or 18 different grants, and all of them have different cycles too, like some of them aren't available first quarter, they come up second, third quarter. The one thing that we're methodically running into though is been 501c3, you're ineligible. And a lot of these grants, like I can pull up, I pay for Grant Finder, it's $60 a month. You can look at it, you can see where I applied for it and got it for other departments. And there's a lot of grants out there that are available that are not 501c3. Those are gonna be the big federal grants. They don't require 501c3, but then we're talking, they're gonna want every little piece of budget for the last 5 years and everything else, which is, again, obtainable through Amy. But those are usually a couple $100,000, like fire trucks or large purchases. And with the COVID money from last month, most of our big purchases are handled. We're running into some gear issues right now. I talked to Amy today about maybe talking to the township about a few $1,000s. Cedric can vouch. Last night we ran into, in moving gear around and getting everybody ready for new gear, we're lacking a lot of the simple staples like more boots. We have a lot of size 8s, so we had a lot of small people apparently at some point. And we have a lot of size 15s and 16s, so we had a lot of big people. We don't have a lot of normal human size, so, and we're talking just boots and gloves, and so we were, I got a solid number to get you to talk to Ken about, maybe spending something about $3,000 of township money to get some more boots and gloves and hoods and stuff that we realize that we're a little short on. Even when we get the new gear and push it down, we're just missing boots that are, again, normal size. Why that is, I don't know. The only other really last minute piece is cadet program. We're still actively running it. We're waiting for some, we've got our SOPs and SOGs in the program built for a little more protection, but we're double checking on the township, on the town side, and the insurance side, as well as with the town attorney to make sure that 7.
Nope.
Yeah.
6:30.
We'll come back.
Or safety finish the conversation.
So to kind of piggyback off, that was kind of the issue that we ran into a lot of. There was quite a bit of grant money out there, even for the law enforcement side. But because we didn't have a 501c3, the town doesn't have one, the fire department didn't have one anymore, we couldn't get any of that money. And a lot of, like, the federal grant side for the law enforcement world, just, it's more based off of, like, specific equipment, cars, dogs, tactical vehicles that we, obviously don't need. But that's the kind of stuff that the federal grants are for the law enforcement side. But there was a lot of little stuff like, like radios, like he was saying, that even the law enforcement side can get if we have that 501c3. So I definitely think that
There's 3 people now.
if we get, even if the law enforcement side, the police department can get in with them and we do it as like a Milton Emergency Services
That's what
Association.
I was literally thinking.
You know what I
about
mean? Because then it's incorporating
Covers both.
everyone, right? You get members from both sides. Their members plus us. Even though I get there's only 4 of us, but 1 or 2 of us are on the association. That covers the police department to be able to get those grants as well. And
It might open it up for even more different grants.
oh, it will. You know what I mean? Because you're no longer, like he was saying. When he searches, he's searching for fire or EMS specific grants. Whereas if he can put in there, fire, law enforcement, EMS, emergency management at that point, because it's it's over everything, then we can get all that much more money drawn into the departments.
So do you think that would be smart to combine them?
As an association, I do, personally.
Yeah.
That's just,
Sounds good to
Keep
me.
it
That'd be something that
We have to have a
you
meeting.
and them
We'd
would
have to
have
have a
to
meeting.
agree.
Right. I know. I just was.
So it's a 501c, you'd have to have your own tax ID number.
Yeah,
They
the
can't
association would.
so
like
Yeah,
like
I
you
mean,
were
like,
saying.
Yeah.
But everybody
like
would-
Milton
Emergency.
Public Safety or
Right.
something association.
Yeah, exactly. And then we would just, what it would boil down to is, like, he would apply for the grant. Like, say we wanted to get, like, a grant for,
Tank.
sure, a tank, an MRAP,
Yes.
an armored vehicle, okay? Not that we would ever really need that.
We
Heaven
can
forbid.
use it during snow again,
But-
put a plow on it.
But for the sake of the conversation, yeah, like let's say we want a special vehicle or something, then we go to the association and say, hey, we want to try to find a grant to fund this. He looks into it, or whoever's on the association looks into it, finds us a grant, applies for it. They actually get the grant. The association does. They just buy whatever we were wanting and
And
donate it back to us. But it allows them to get more if we're all together in it. So I definitely
I know
think
that's
that's
gonna be a process, but I have somebody that's at work that's trying to form a new business. I bet they've been doing it for 2 months, so we can't finish our end of stuff because they're working on, and it's been probably two months.
yeah, I definitely think the association is better than the incorporation, because they have the incorporation, like he was saying, and like he was saying, you can go online. It's expired, as the state calls it,
Right, so you have to go in there and make yourself active,
every year.
well, depending on the, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's every year, sometimes it's every other year, or how often they require 18 months, 20, you just go to the state of Indiana and
Yeah.
reactivate it.
Right, and, I mean, it's
fill
effectively
out the
free money
paperwork,
just
I
sitting
guess.
out there for us to bring, better equipment into the town to serve the public. So, I mean, why not? And it saves the town money, cause then we're not having to potentially use part of our budget to fund the things that, the town needs in that aspect. We can get it from grants.
Because we do that, when we have a business loan, we go into the state and see if those people are active, because if it's not an active business, we can't do the loan.
Yeah.
And they have to go in there and reapply and do all kinds of paperwork to reactivate it.
Right. I know that back when we were doing things and looking into the different fundraisers we could do, that was the big thing we ran into was the 501c3. And I talked to a few of my friends who have their own 501c3 and run them, and it's a lengthy process, but it's not a difficult one. It's very step by step. It just takes time and money. So.
I think it would be worth it. I mean, free money is free money.
I mean, it's gonna cost you money up front.
Yeah, but they could get that back
Right.
quickly.
And that's the nice thing about it to a degree is that, yeah, it'll cost us money up front, but that's a one-time fee most of the time.
Right, if you stay on top of it, it's a one-time fee. What? Fire department got leaves?
No, he was already there.
Hmm.
Matt said something about, he said something.
Scared.
So, we lost the 501c3 some years ago.
The fire department.
The fire department
They used to, well, they were an incorporation, so they had their 501c3 through them. But
It's
I think it was like
expired.
Milton Firemen's Incorporated is no longer. It's actually it was made under
did. Mr. Hicks.
Hicks, yeah. And when you go on,
That explains it.
right, years and years ago. And so when you go online and look, because that was the big question, I mean, shoot, when we first started doing things, we looked it up and it says inactive because it expired and nobody paid it. Now, I don't know what their guidelines are for reinstating it. I don't know who can even reinstate it. It may have to be Hicks. I don't know.
Cause I wrote some grants back in like 2012. And we had it then,
Through the fire department or the town did?
the town.
So, I don't know.
Cause that was one
I
of the
didn't know the town.
requirements.
We don't have one.
The town is a government entity. I don't think they can hold a 501c3. So I don't know if that's different. Not my world.
We have the tax ID number, but not 501c3.
Things change.
Well, I can tell you that I know that on the fire side, the bylaws that went through their second vote at their meeting, so then they have one more to approve those. Right?
Well,
Says 127, it will be done.
What's a fit test? Oh, for the,
it's for the mass, yeah.
do you have to shave?
Yes.
All the way?
Oh, for the most part.
All the way? You look like a baby.
If you want it to truly be a fit
Oh,
test,
I know
yeah.
some firemen that,
Like, you can have like little small things, but yeah, all this is
I wonder some firemen that have like beard.
because I was playing with it last night. It's produced Chad.
They ran right through that stop sign, didn't they?
He's got his lights on.
No, he's stopped and
I don't
Just
know.
slow down at least.
I don't know. I didn't see that. That's right here.
Pulling out that way has got problems.
What is
I
that?
think Matt Bartlett went to his
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah, Bartlett went down Main, or not Main.
You're just right here, right now.
Chad went that way.
That was
Or not Chad, but Matt went that way. And then
I don't know who that truck was.
that was
That was
Chad Bartlett.
Yeah, that was Chad.
So what Matt had asked me was to ask Ken about splitting the extra gear. I told him I would try. I don't see him as much as I did before. Maybe once a week and it's in out. Conversation is very short.
With who?
Ken.
Oh.
Well, I don't know if they're gonna go through with it or not, but there's a House bill that's
Yeah.
going through right now, that they're gonna try to dissolve the
Township.
townships,
So, yeah.
and it'll all be relied on the county.
And
So
then
then my
decide
question
everything.
is, if they do resolve the township, does it need funding that the township gets for,
Goes to the county,
goes to the county?
because they're effectively taking over.
So then I won't have to worry about it
But
anymore?
here's the thing that.
Here's the thing, the county can take over the fire
The
department.
county
Well, not
would make
our
one.
fire department, because we're in control of it, but they can take.
They
the
take
town-
care of
funding?
township- They
What
take
was
the
it?
township's trucks.
Yeah,
Put it
anything
somewhere
that the township owned becomes county owned,
Yeah.
and on top of that, they take the territory. So like,
Yeah.
if the county says, we don't want Milton Fire,
Yeah.
then you cover the city limits and that's it.
Yeah, it'd be like double.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they're trying to
Yeah, I
stop
seen
it.
that on
So
Facebook.
is that what everybody's been posting to stand up about?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm standing up.
Stand up and you have to.
Huh?
They've been trying for years to do it.
Why would they wanna do that? Money?
Some
I mean,
areas.
don't they have enough?
Some areas it'll work,
Yeah,
like our area
Small,
doesn't really
like-
work.
That's what my concern is, they're gonna harm.
and then you're gonna mess around, it'll end up being like the Ghetto Boys, like, hey, everybody, you can have, your department can have this area.
The way it's read right now, the emergency management director, so the EMA director, would be the fire chief over the entire county,
Yeah,
That's too
with
much.
the exception of the city limits of each individual town.
That's too much.
That's
Why
the
would
way
they
they've
even
got
wanna
it
put that
written.
on somebody?
but they would have other delegates.
Yeah,
in
they
each-
would, yeah.
Well,
how-
sure.
They would have to have
Still.
a hierarchy.
It just depends on how they would wanna do it, that's gonna be a whole nother ballgame, so if they just out, just push that one underneath the table to another special meeting or something.
Exactly.
Cause it's gonna be, if they pull it off.
It's time to stand up for our local fire departments. We're not letting it happen.
And I seen that Dublin rescheduled their,
Chili or their soup.
their soup and salad or soup and sandwich, so
I don't remember the date, I'd have to
217 or-
look.
And they're gonna have their,
216.
they're gonna have their Christmas party and stuff in a couple of weeks. Want us to watch,
Cover.
cover for them, so.
Alright.
We ready to move
This
on?
is the sign.
On the updates from council, will that be,
Whatever you might have.
we're just discussing the pay raise for our employees, for our town employees?
I just need you
Does
guys
anyone wanna
to,
talk about, anyone wanna say anything about it?
I'm good with it.
I'm good with
do I?
it.
Okay.
I got it right.
It's probably been a week ago, I read something in the paper, Wayne County coming out of Richmond, grants coming out of them probably maybe 3 to 5 months
Yep.
into the year before they start.
Yep. And I have a meeting with Acacia, Philip and I will, at, I think Lincoln High School is what she said, she would give me the affirmative date. We need to put together a list of what we want.
What is it?
Like, I'd like to get another grant for the sidewalks from county. I'd like to look into other things that, maybe that's the time to ask for the other stuff for the park. That's up to y'all.
And we need,
We need sidewalk money, we know that.
Yeah, I'll ask for sidewalks every year
Forever, yeah.
until they're all done. So
as
I
far
just-
as the park, we have what, 2,000 left right now?
Well, Randy seems to think that we need to get a grant for about $70,000 more.
What? Splash pad?
No,
It's a more motorized slide.
Oh, launch pad?
I know one of the things is he really is adamant about putting a fountain in there. Dwight and I have talked, and Dwight's been in contact with Mr. Jones, and it's a no.
It's a
We
no.
do not want, we don't want that. I personally don't want to be sitting on my front porch and watch a kid just go splashing into the fountain or get hurt.
Herbie
And
dogs playing in it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
I think fountain and fireplaces can be just nixed for now.
The
until-
fireplaces are okay because they are gonna be a permanent fixture.
I know, but
But
it's
through
still money
insurance.
that we don't need to be spending right now until we get everything else.
Well, that's not even on, that would be like if I could get another grant for the park.
Because that's
Well, the
just,
money that we have right now is, majority of it goes to pay for the equipment once it's completely installed. I refused and told them, I'm not paying you until you're complete and inspected.
well, what are they gonna do about the other slide?
Well, they were supposed to come and do that,
When the
That
new one's
Monday
rolled
never
around,
came.
It's all scuffed up too.
and then when they get here, then that discussion is gonna happen that you're going to get another slide.
We already got the slide.
I know, but this one's all scuffed up.
It
'cause
rolled around, that's
across
The
the parking
replacement
lot.
one got
Remember
scuffed
it
up
rolled
just
around
like
the
the first one.
windstorm. It's not got deep places in it like the other one has a deep gash or two in it, but
so
this
it's not
is
rolling around,
skinned.
like.
why don't they just hold it until they're ready to put it
That's what I was
in?
getting
That's
at.
exactly right. They shipped it and didn't even tell the installer that it was here.
I mean, it can't
It's
be
how I-
installed now probably until end of February, March.
Right.
Ground.
And they're doing it, I'll say backwards,
Yeah.
because you should bury the pole in the concrete first, and then add the slide, and then add the ladder that they gotta go up. They've done just the opposite.
They put it on.
They've already got the ladder set.
Oh, no.
They,
Oh, no.
they tried.
Well, the one end of it, they got it concreted in.
They got,
old one.
they're not gonna like it when they come up here. Cause when they tried to install it, they damaged the ladder,
Mm-hmm.
didn't replace it. Now we have two slides sitting over here that are damaged, and I'm gonna tell them one more time. I left it to Randy, this time it's gonna be Amy. You're gonna replace the whole thing, not just part of it. You've
Right.
damaged, your people damaged it all. The
So,
front legs,
We have 30 slides.
the front legs on the
Basically.
Ladder.
ladder, they tried to lift it with a fork and they took those and bent them straight out. So they can't even use it.
But they didn't want us to set it up because we might mess it up.
Yep.
Well, at least since they messed it up, they can fix it. If we mess it up, it's on us.
Yes.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's time to get the camera out and take pictures and send them.
Speaking of cameras, are we putting cameras up in the park area?
No, but Cedric doesn't want internet
It's just
At the
another
park.
bill.
at the park.
We can put.
Why does it have to be media always?
Because you're the one who said no.
I was thinking we could just
You should be
attach it to
outside playing
Amy's
in the park.
house.
What?
What?
Yeah, exactly. There it is. Put it on Amy's house.
No, I was just curious. I mean, I know there's gonna be trees and whatnot
Not
out there.
on
If we
my
have
house for the
issues,
other
like we
part.
have a trail cam that we can put up that'll capture when people are moving in and out of there and whatnot. I just didn't know where you'd landed
Never
with
thought
that.
about
So
that.
that's what, I mean, we've got one already that we've used to catch trespassers, but beyond that, we haven't used it for much. I think you know, if we run into that issue, I think the simple fix, the cheapest fix, is just to get like one or two more trail cameras, and that way we've got better angles.
Like I said, you guys really want that type of notifications come to your phone?
No.
Exactly.
No.
It would like and my thing is if we were gonna put like a permanent fixed camera out there, I would want something that isn't a ring camera. You know what I mean? I would
Oh,
want
it
it.
couldn't be, I mean, yeah.
You know what I mean? I would want one central camera out there that just kind of like maybe on the
Monument.
monument that showed the general area of the park so you could see, you know, who's coming and going if you ever did have an incident, and that'd be about it. You know what I mean? But I think, like, you know, like I said, I think if we start having issues, then we just put a trail cam up out there and set it, like the ones that we have right now, I can set it up to where it only detects motion during a certain time period. So, we say, park's closed at 9 o'clock, and we set it from 9 to 7 a.m. It detects motion, and we catch kids out there. I'm sure is what it'll be, playing and whatnot. But
People driving through.
right, so I just didn't know where we landed with all that.
I would be cool with like with the trail type thing.
I think the one we had was like, I want to say like $80 because it's cellular, but I mean, that's a way cheaper option than paying for internet for years.
Well, the other is if you're gonna put up, I mean, Amy and I looked at some of the lighting that I think that Duke gave us some cost. What was it, 50,000?
Yeah, yeah, that's ridiculous.
I mean, there's gonna be lights out there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, no, yeah,
I was like,
flashlights.
Solar floodlights.
That's what I'm thinking too,
Well,
like
we
dust
can't
to
have
dawn.
solar because it'll work.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I know where some wooden telephone poles are.
I mean, you might have to go back to that because, $50,000 what Duke wants. And,
Our concern was the brightness
right,
of it. I mean, it's gonna be,
and the 30-foot high poles,
I mean, ultimately, you like
and when they're on, when they're off, they're off.
right.
You can't, I mean, unless you wanna put in a switch box where you can turn them off at a certain time.
Is there gonna be any power out there to like the buildings or any of that?
They're
I haven't been out there.
conduit for cables now.
I didn't know if those buildings were gonna have power, that kind of thing. If they were gonna have their own lights in them, or
Somebody hooked something up over there, is all I
Yeah,
know.
they wanna put,
I mean,
Well,
maybe
should've been
I can understand a switch on those, but I kind of agreed. Putting you can't put a switch
Yeah, it was
on
pretty
a
high.
telephone pole. You know what I mean?
I bet they were.
And so,
my concern was, why can't
That
they
to
do
mix-
won't allow us to
mix
put
the
a timer on
concrete
them.
together.
Stuff.
they don't do a dust to dawn.
That's still,
They
that's
won't-
a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot for just 1 month.
It's like a
Why
month.
can't we bury
Yeah, so my house-
like
my house
he was
was
saying, get a telephone pole ourselves, put it at,
Buy
put a
a
couple of
$50 dust to dawn light and just
then
have a plumb power.
our own lights.
I mean, like the lights.
I mean, it may not be the prettiest thing in the world, but
Well, it was cheaper to get lights like what we have right out here,
But they're not.
For
bright.
but they're
$1,000
not
a
bright
piece.
enough.
why? I mean, I guess my thing is like during the summer you're gonna have light till.
Dark.
But
Yep, you're gonna have light till it's dark.
Well, the
I
other
mean, on top
question,
of those,
Let's
if we
not
get
do-
the 30-foot
What?
black, the poles, can't you still put those other lights off of them? Like that puts in,
The only thing
you
that I
didn't
would,
have to look like Walmart.
Yeah.
I guess my
Right.
thing is
That's the kind of lighting
yeah, that's it.
that you're gonna have.
Like the poles like Walmart, but they're just gonna be black.
when it comes to like the brightness and whatnot, the only place that I would think would need to be like fully lit, at night would be the basketball courts.
Yeah.
And even then, like, how many
Keep-
people
keep
are
in
gonna
mind,
be playing
yeah,
on?
but-
You'd be surprised.
Midnight pickleball.
And that's true. But you also have to think,
I mean,
is that gonna upset the residents that live there too?
They're
Yeah.
used to it.
but so there's the lighting,
Yeah.
that's what, how you gonna feel when there's.
Well, when Dwight and I were talking about, it, my suggestion was put back the 3 poles that they took down, that Powell's had them take down so they could get in and excavate and do all their stuff. Put those back up, put the LEDs. That's a lot of light. That's a lot of light around the park.
We emptied out, we almost emptied out the back of that dump truck.
I mean, that would be,
And that
like,
intersection.
Amy saying, cheaper.
Yeah.
May not look pretty,
I
but
mean,
you're
from
gonna
a,
have the lighting, but we have a curfew. Look at our ordinance, we have a curfew.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Is
wanna
it
keep
11?
things lit.
Is
so
it
kids are
11
out
in
there.
summer?
well, and that's the
So
thing.
what if
We
I'm
never.
out there with my kids playing basketball?
That's different. They're with an adult. That's in the
Yeah.
ordinance. They're with
I
an
mean,
adult.
my thing is like we don't want the park to be dark at any point.
No,
Well, it's gonna
Because
have
that's just
lights
gonna
on
that's
all
gonna
4
bring
corners.
criminal activity.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
It's
it's just that's
this is what it's gonna do, yeah.
yeah.
But
So
those lights
even
are
if
more decorative.
Yeah, but they're
even
still,
if
it's
it's
still
just a
lit.
dim lit area, like
And
some
street
light's better than none, especially once it gets dark. It's really just there to deter and to
But the
make
brighter
it so that
it
if
is.
somebody goes walking through the park and they don't fall. So,
We have
I
a
don't
light
know.
on the corner of Cherry and Canal, and I can see everything at the park. I can see all the way to the playground.
Yeah, to the playground, can't see to the
I vote that we
gazebos.
make you the inspector.
Yeah, there you go.
You and Jimmy, Parks Department.
That's what I'm saying. Park Patrol.
Don't rub me into that.
So that's something that we need to look at, is lighting over there. I suggest that we do not have a fountain, that we have 3 flags, American flag, state flag, and
Sharpshooter
have a
flag?
sharpshooter flag
Yeah.
over there.
On one pole,
No.
No, 3 poles. It's that, if you go over there and you look at the circumference that he has dug out for the fountain, whew, Lord, it's about as big as a
Which I
splash
think
pad.
he was, wasn't he planning on putting brick in there?
Yeah,
I'll tell you, fountains, like the big thing that I've seen that that especially Connersville runs into is people put soap in them.
I
And then it
don't wanna
destroys them.
pay the,
Like I said,
Insurance.
it's just the maintenance of it. This is winter time.
Anything you guys decide to put out there, they've already got a water drain, and they've already got water lines. So, I mean, you
Now it's $7.
got access to anything else that you can use. It's
Well, you
already
got
set.
how many hydrants in there for water?
One on
They got
every
that
corner.
spigot right there
And
next to
then-
the center.
yeah.
right, so if we decide 5 years from now if we want it, we can do
It's
it.
there.
It's there.
Everything's there.
Mm-hmm.
All the electric is ran, right? Everything's done.
Well, let's put it this way, if we get flagpoles, let's get ones better than the leaning
Yeah.
tower Pisa.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Flagpoles run,
about $200, $250 a piece.
Not the,
Not the,
Not an extended one. I looked up a solid pole, and an average flagpole is about
Something like the
$250.
gazebo over here.
yeah, that's
250.
not
that
the leaning tower
flagpole's
Pisa.
over 2,000.
You can move
Cause
that
it's
around
aluminum.
over there.
In
Oh, it's
automotive,
a-
you went from like,
Oh, it's a
$500
lightning rod.
to 2,000 because you got more aluminum going in cars now for lightweight. So they're going for the money at the auto parts manufacturer.
Can you guys think of anything else that I would, or Philip and I would ask Acacia for the county grants? The last one we
like the
had was,
flagpoles.
well, no, I put park, sidewalks, the last one we had was sidewalks, sewer, and the park. Right now, I have sidewalks, the park, and what other one would you like to see?
Depends on, what type of grants are given out.
She just told me to get a list of things that we possibly would want or need or think of.
I think we need to upgrade the weather siren.
They're working on that. Yeah, cause I've sent multiple messages to Nick Elber because it's not going off. And they said that they've ordered it apart. We're not the only town.
Nothing in Western Wayne County past version ones.
Yeah.
Hasn't since
Months.
July or August.
Yeah, months.
So it's something to do on the, last I knew it was something to do on the dispatch console, something on the comm lines going out. So it's nothing that we need to do.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can do.
That's
It's-
what he told me. He
This
said
is what happens when you
it's
set it
on
off.
them.
If we can.
Should be able to.
What is
What's
it?
that first word you said?
Can you manually
Sure.
turn it on?
Find out tomorrow, or we can find out now.
We can get you a
Can
hang, we can get a hang crank to put on the side of it.
Can you manually turn it on?
Well, the radios at the fire department do it, in the trucks, in the big station, should work.
Should, as long as they haven't been
Yeah,
manipulated.
good word there.
We haven't tested that theory.
What time is it?
10 o'clock.
Too late.
I think that'd be a middle of the day
That's
test,
what
and I
I
think,
Yeah,
talk
you
to
should.
EMA and we can try it. I mean, I'm not opposed to
Send out a
that.
reach alert, do that noon.
Yeah. Prepare yourselves.
Send a reach alert
If I
that we're
remember
gonna be
to send
doing a
reach-
test, yada, yada, yada.
Well, let's do it on like,
I request
let's do it like on a weekend. Let's do it like on a weekend, and or I can show you how to.
The day the storm's
Why can't we
right,
just
that's
do
the
it
day.
like a Tuesday at 10
No.
AM, so we don't scare the living hell out of everybody that's home?
If you let me know the day you're gonna do it, I will do my very best to send out a reach alert.
The first one you wanna scare is you.
Well, it's normal. I'm right here. It's right there. So,
But
It's
no,
normal.
that's been an issue. Dublin's hasn't worked, Cambridge's hasn't worked, and ours has.
so anything else? Any other thing that maybe we should? Maybe?
You look to me like I know something I'm supposed to think something. Oh, yeah, there you go.
What?
Dump truck.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't think they're gonna do that. Great for that though.
Look, I can put it on there. They might, you never
All we can do
know.
is say
A
no.
brand new truck?
Dump truck.
Can we get
I like that
can
one.
we get a snowplow and the spreader in the back of it?
With a salt spreader.
Put one on the charger.
Salt spreader? Put that little one on the charger.
I don't think it's got a hitch,
Hey, we can figure it out.
but the Tahoes do.
Spreader.
Just so you know, that means you'd have to come out in the bad weather.
Ask Amy, I'm out in the bad
Well,
weather
you know, he
anyway.
fix it.
He just
I swear he
follows
fix
around.
it.
Yeah.
Anything else that you can think of? So I'm gonna go with those three things.
What was the sewer one for last time?
Forget why did we have to have it? Oh, we had to have pumps.
Yeah.
Was it pumps? Was it pumps?
We had to put in the lift station, they bought one German pump that is,
It was like $30,000.
well, that wouldn't be that one.
It was the sewer going to Connorsville.
Connersville.
We had to replace those,
Caps.
yep. Who said that?
Me.
Yep,
It was like 80,000, wasn't it?
I don't
To
know.
unplug it.
No,
60.
If you had a ball
I think it was 44,000 that they gave us. I gotta, that was like way back. I'll look and see what that's
I mean,
for.
because the pumps that's in the lift station right now, at the main lift station, those run probably now about 18.
Do we have a backup on
Each.
those? On that?
We have backup pumps?
I think they agree.
And I know the previous administration, they bought this one pump that's made in Germany.
And it didn't.
Yeah, we got an American and a German.
And the German one stinks. It doesn't grind up very well.
Well, neither one of them do. Neither one of them are designed to grind up. They're not that kind of
They
pump.
got the low-end version.
Yeah, they weren't meant for that system. They were made for a freshwater system.
And then we need to fix the bioxide tank. Get a smaller tank so you get more refreshed bioxide coming in.
I mean,
Because eventually, if,
do we even need that bioxide anymore?
Yeah, that's so it doesn't eat the casting of the
Okay.
stuff going
So I
that
didn't
way.
know 100% what it was for. I
Yeah,
was
I know,
just
you're on
told
the
smelling
water
or
side.
something.
well, I mean,
Both.
Yeah.
the bioxide neutralizes the acid in the sewer system. Because we didn't do that initially when stuff was installed. I mean, it was there, but no one monitored. And Connersville took the lid off the manhole, it was all rusted, starting to
So I
deteriorate.
turned the pumps back on. We were trying to get rid of the old stuff because it's not doing any good sitting there, and we can't do anything. It's going to be way too expensive just to automatically just suck it all out right now. For the company to come out and dispose it. So we can still set it through the system. It's not going to drown out the system. It's not going to throw off any warnings.
Is it building up the sludge again?
No, it's not.
Okay.
So I think that the catch basket is actually doing some of that work for it. It's helping. We've cleaned it out once. It was packed full.
When we first got
Yeah,
it?
she had a picture of it, so. But right now, last time me and Teddy checked it a few days ago, it's still pretty clear.
Good. Good for you. That's all I have.
All right, if no one else has anything, do I have a motion that we adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Yay.
Yay.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like a broken record.
Motion approved.
I like it.